Okay, so yeah, we haven't done a shop update for a while, so thought it was about time. Yeah, so as you saw, the VF1000R moved on to its new owner, who's extremely happy with that. So that's freed up a little bit of space in the shop. So I've brought in the Will It Run ZXR 750 H1 bike, where I'm, if you recall in the video I did on that, it's a bike I'd kind of rebuilt from a accident damaged bike years ago. I kind of pulled it, it'd been in storage for a while, I pulled it out of storage, kind of got it running, but not very well. It needs the carbs cleaning out, and it's got an issue with it, either the timing or the valve clearance. But I really do want to get this bike fully up and running and back on the road. It is potentially a restoration project candidate, because these bikes are going up in value. First year 89 ZXR 750, and I'd already put a lot of parts on this bike to get it to where it was. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. That'll actually come up, I think, pretty soon. We'll do a part 2. Hopefully we can address the timing issue, and yeah, get that on the road. I'm looking forward to riding that. We also have the Ducati Will It Run, Ducati 748 Will It Run bike. Did a couple of videos on this, very popular. And yeah, right now I'm kind of just riding the bike, just getting out on it at the weekends for short runs, really enjoying it. It's kind of become one of my favorite go-to bikes. So I've decided with this, what I'm going to do, it still needs a lot of work, even just to get it to, you know, a level where I would say it's a reliable rider and it looks nice. I mean, I'm not going to restore it, but I've got to replace the battery tray and holder, because that's all broken and it's just temporarily on there at the moment. I need to get all the other fairings for it. And then there's a few other parts just to make it reliable. I got to go through all the brakes, change all the fluids. I got to do the belts on it. I got to do engine oil change. So that will be a video on its own. Right now I'm just collecting the parts that I need. So that'll be maybe, you know, a video that's 5-6 weeks out. But I'm looking forward to that. And I got some ideas on the fairings. And again, I'm just going to make it a nice rider. I'm not going to get too involved in, you know, any kind of restoration at this stage. I've got my touring bike, BMW R1200 RT bike in now, basically for the winter. Really love this bike. My wife and I go touring on this. Didn't do too much this year, but planning more next year. We've got the 86 GSXR 1100. This is the bike that's kind of been sat in the background for a couple of years now. It's almost fully, all the parts are pretty much fully restored. I've got to do an engine rebuild, mainly just the top end, and then put it all back together again. Only decision I've got to make is on the bodywork. I've got some very nice red and black OE bodywork, which was kind of the plan. Which I'll probably, you know, that's probably what I'll stick with. But I had kind of thought about doing another Skull Bandit, but we'll see. This is a nice original bike, so maybe we just keep it fully OE. That is going to be probably the next big project up. Yeah, because there's no reason for it to be sat there. These bikes are still really popular right now, first year 1100s. So I think let's get that finished, and then we can move that on. And that'll free up some space for some other projects. We've got the RS50 cosmetic restoration. Actually turned out to be a little bit more than a cosmetic restoration. I've pretty much gone through the whole bike. And yeah, I did a video last week on that. There's been a couple of videos. We're really now at the final stages of finishing the bodywork up. You can see here I've been working on the nose cone. that's being all the paint is done, and now it's just a matter of cut and buffing everything. All the repairs were done, paint correction was done, came out fantastic. I think there was a video we did just on the tank. The tail unit is on there now. Front mudguard is done. Yeah, tail unit is done. This looks really nice. It's come out great. So there'll be a third video on that coming out. I think, yeah, maybe in a few weeks. Yeah, and then we have the RZV 500R project bike that we picked up earlier this year. And the plan with this is to do a Wayne Rainey YZR 500 replica, probably the 91 is the one I like the most as far as aesthetics. So we've kind of just been planning this right now, you know, kind of working out which direction we want to go. So we're going to retain the RZV frame because it's got a California title, and that's rare, very rare. Because often for the YZR replicas, they do a frame swap, you know, like a TZR frame, something like that. But I think I'd like to retain the RZV frame, so this can be a YZR 500 replica you can have on the road. But right now it's got an R6 swing arm conversion. We'll switch that out either for an R6 gull arm, or if I can find one, I'd prefer a TZR 250. I think it's the 3MX. May have got that wrong. Anyway, it's the SP swing arm, gull arm, to go with the two side-by-side expansion chambers. So that's going to be a fun project, but it's a lot of work, a lot of fabrication, and still a lot of parts we've got to get. We've got to get the fairing kit, YZR fairing kit as well, and then the engine needs a ton of stuff, and we got to decide what we want to do with the engine. Do we keep it stock, or maybe do something a little bit crazy, dry clutch conversion, something like that? Yeah, so that's pretty much what we've got in the shop itself. There's some upgrades we're going to be doing to the paint booth. I'm also going to be, I've got the VF1000R project, and the videos were very popular, and we've got several subscribers and viewers who reached out to me earlier in the year. They either want to get they've got a VF1000R that either, you know, has been in storage for a decade plus, and they want to recommission it, get it back on the road, motivated by my videos, which is awesome. That's always the goal. And then there's also a viewer who is seriously considering a full restoration, like the one I did on the shop bike. So potentially there could be one or maybe even two VF1000Rs in the shop, either by the end of the year or after the new year. Yeah, and I think if we do the full restoration, we probably won't cover too much of that. I need to kind of get that out and done as quickly as possible. We've got plenty of videos on the shop bike we did. I don't think we need to repeat that. There's an 86 bike that we may be recommissioning, and maybe I'll do a video on that, because the recommissioning videos are pretty interesting, and there's good content for other people who want to do the same thing. Yeah, and then in the new year, we've got I think around about January timeframe, by the looks of it, we had the client in with the RGB 500 project. He's making fantastic progress. I think you saw I posted a few posts, just, you know, community posts. We were doing some parts for him, doing some Cerakoting and a few other little bits. He's almost got that now where it's a rolling chassis. Bodywork is pretty much done. It took a lot of adapting to fit the standard RG 500 frame, but he's nearly done. It looks fantastic. He's done a great job, and he's, you know, a lot of other areas he's done. He's got the brakes all done now. Most of the running gear is all done. We did the wheels earlier. So yeah, he's going to get that into a rolling chassis, and that could be here as soon as January, and that's going to be an absolutely amazing paint scheme we're going to go for there. The Suzuki Team Classic RGB 500 replica paint scheme. So we've already planned it all out, got the paint, the decals. It's going to be pretty awesome. I think you know, that'll be one of the more complex paint jobs that we've done, and it'll make for some exciting videos. Yeah, so I think that's it for in the shop. I'll take you now over to the paint booth that we built. I think it was earlier this year. That's been fantastic. We've done so much work through that paint booth this year. I think it's been featured in pretty much all of the videos one way or another. But there's some upgrades we need to do. Improve the design, and just so we can get projects through the booth a little bit quicker and a little bit less overhead in the maintenance. So I'll take you over there now and yeah, show you what we're going to do there. Okay, so yeah, so what we're planning with the paint booth, probably the biggest drawback I've had with the booth, and I kind of knew from the beginning it might be an issue, is just the surface area of the exhaust vents. As you know, if you've watched the videos, it's a downdraft positive pressure booth. So the idea is we've got the two fans coming in from the top. We build up the booth itself is very well sealed, so it builds up a positive pressure as the air is forced in. And then when all the overspray from the painting is exhausted out the two side vents. But what I found is the surface area of these is just nowhere near adequate enough. So what happens is, especially if I'm doing a lot of clear coat, the filters clog up very quickly. So I maybe get 10-20 minutes of good spraying, you know, where the room is clear, and then as they clog up, the room obviously starts to build up with overspray. And I don't, you know, I can still paint in those conditions, but prefer not to. And plus what's happened is, you can see here the overspray is starting to adhere to the walls. So what we're going to do, a couple of modifications. I've got some grates here, very similar to what you find in a car paint booth in the floor, and then they have the filters and the exhaust extraction under that. I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm going to cut out the floor area here. It's going to be approximately 3 feet by 4 feet. And then I'll basically put in a framework that you can lay the exhaust filters on, and then the frames, 2 frames, will just drop in on top. So, you know, we've got what, approximately 3 by 4, so 12 square feet of exhaust area is going to be more than enough. In fact, if anything, it might be a little bit too much, because I still need to keep a positive pressure in the booth to force the overspray out and to keep dust out. We may blank some of that off, but anyway, that's the plan. That's going to be a major upgrade we're going to do in the next few weeks. And then also I've got to find a way to clear the overspray off the walls, and then I've got some paint booth liner, which we can see here, clear liner. So once I've cleaned the walls, I'm going to actually put that liner on the walls, and that's a peel off liner. So that way, if you get overspray on it or whatever, you just peel it off and replace it. And that way we keep the walls nice and clean. But anyway, it's been fantastic. Amazing investment, and been very happy with it. Just got to do a few tweaks and we'll be good to go for next year. Yeah, and then I think the only other thing, I'm starting to do, forgive the mess, yeah, I'm starting to do more and more Cerakoting. And actually now, I used to do a lot of powder coating for parts, and I much prefer the Cerakote finish, and that's pretty much now, I'd say 90% of what we're doing for things like brackets and fairing stays and, you know, footrest hangers, all those things. Much prefer to do them with Cerakote now. The only challenge is some of those parts are too big for the oven that I have. It's kind of a fairly large domestic oven, but I actually want to start even potentially doing some frames. So what we're going to do is, I've been looking for a commercial oven that's big enough to do that. The ovens tend to be too large because they, you know, the commercial ovens are more scaled for doing batch processing of parts. I just want something that I can get a, you know, kind of a wheel in, or maybe, you know, the main frame of a bike. So, you know, I need something that's maybe something like 6 cubic feet in volume. So the plan there is potentially I'm going to build my own oven, and I've got a few ideas on that, but I'll leave that until until we're kind of closer to the time. And that's it. So yeah, appreciate everyone watching the videos and following the channel, and we've got a lot more to come and a lot happening in 2024. So bye for now.